Welcome to another episode of For the Culture Podcast, a soccer podcast for us, by us.
You know what it is.
It's the intersection of black culture
and all things soccer. You guys ready to get hyped for tonight's podcast or what?
It's on you, Grego.
Keep going.
Oh, you think it'll stop? Party don't stop. Party don't stop. Nah, man. Hey.
Just off like, okay, no fade. Okay, but that's what's up, man. Yeah,
That's I got this guy here. And
DJ TK.
What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of For the Culture Podcast. Got your boy here, Grego here. Got Coach Tony in the building.
Yes, sir.
Got Mayor Kane. Welcome back. DJ TK on the ones and twos. Ringo is out and about taking care of the missus. Of course, I happen to notice that when he has a birthday and when the wife has a birthday, he's not on the show that week. Because I happen to think about this because when the missus had her birthday, he was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead, set this one out and all that good shit. So, for those of y'all who don't know, Ringo's birthday is this week. So happy birthday to the Crown Prince. Take care of your thing this week, man.
yes, sir.
Are you almost saying like a Neymar type of thing with Ringo, man? Like,
Maybe.
Down. Hey, wait, so Ringo's, is somebody's birthday yesterday, you're saying?
No, his birthday is
this week.
Yeah.
Okay, copy that. Well, shout out to Ringo.
Yeah. Yeah, he getting old up there, man. I said them kids gonna wear him out, but he's doing his thing, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, we are back here for another week. Looks like Europe is trying to get back into the swing of things. We actually got soccer coming up this week. Well, my bad. We got K-League is already started.
K-League already started, man. You better put some respect on the K-League, baby.
Put some
Top 5 round. Top 5.
We're on here, man.
Yo, did you see the goal that old boy hit in the K-League? Like, it was the ball was played behind him. I don't know who it was. My apologies. But if we can get that video highlight, like, dude, the ball's behind him. He kind of flicks it with his back heel type of thing to the side netting. Beautiful. It's magnifique. Look like he ain't missed 60 days of training or whatever. However many days they've been out.
Yo.
So, about Son from Tottenham, you think we'll see him again soon? Speaking of
he's a master marksman and everything, so he might drop this career and be a sharpshooter for the Army. So
right. I see what you did there, Grego. I see what you did there, sir.
Well done.
That was a dad joke. Good dad joke there. Oh. He's a marksman.
But no, yeah. I guess it's been so weird because you have the Korean baseball on ESPN. They've been on TV for like a week and a half. 2 weeks.
Watching it at.
I've watched a little bit of it, but I mean it's just so weird because there's never been any Korean baseball on ESPN. I'm like, I don't know who any of these guys are. I know there's maybe a handful of people who have played in Major League Baseball, but other than that, I'm like, who the fuck are these guys?
Well, I will say I probably watched more cornhole championship than I have of any of the other sports that are being played right now. That cornhole championship, man.
Rashad,
that's so weird. I was just agreeing with it.
They got the mask on. They're keeping their space. Is in front of a empty audience. So they doing it well. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They stay safe, baby. And so, the cornhole championships. It's always one of them things. Like after a couple of brews, you're like, yo, I could do that. I could be a professional. You know what I'm saying? So, matter of fact, we need to make for the culture jerseys for the cornhole crew, because if you see their kits, them things are looking like bass fisherman outfits. You know what I'm saying?
More sponsors so we can put ours. man.
So I can't remember the name of that the name brand.
What? Oh, what was it?
Of the shirts.
Yeah.
It's not Columbia, is it?
Everyone's got a friend who wears this damn fish.
It's not. Is it Columbia?
Nah, Columbia makes it nowadays though.
That's for like fishing though. But he's talking about you talking about like the actual like dry fit or whatever material, the nylon material they wear.
So they got the little cutout and the flap. Your favorite white guy knows them, wears them.
Oh man,
the shit. Wasn't there like the soccer team that wore Eddie Bauer? I feel like there's a team that wore Eddie Bauer like back in like 20, 25 years ago. Back when Eddie Bauer was the shit. Like I don't know. I might be tripping, but all I can think about is like when Rashad said Columbia. I was like, hold on, wasn't there a team that wore Eddie Bauer? But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But yes, Europe is pretty much on making steps and strides towards getting back into starting back games. Of course, the Bundesliga is back this weekend. So just to kind of catch everybody up on our last episode of Bundesliga, we got Bayern up top. Big surprise there with 55 points, leading Borussia Dortmund by 4 points. And behind them are RB Leipzig and Borussia Mönchengladbach. You might need to Google, you might need to Google it to see how to spell Mönchengladbach. But yes, it's all.
I got some of gear, man. Yo, like low key, like if you don't follow German League, Live Borussia Mönchengladbach, they kind of rivals against Schalke as far as academies go.
Weekend.
You said what now?
The River Derby's this weekend. Yeah, Dortmund and Schalke. Yeah.
Yep. But Mönchengladbach, they're known for like their academy system and everything like that. They're known for like producing studs.
Indeed. So yeah, be on the lookout. Of course, the Bundesliga is still on Fox, so they'll probably give you every game that you can ask for this week. Like, hey, we got sports. Give them all.
Right.
A sub-affiliate network of Fox.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But of course, the big news that came out of Europe this week is that the English Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Mr. COVID himself, has given the EPL the green light to restart the EPL on June 1st. They still have to vote to agree like what date they actually will come back, but at least the green light is there. So what do you guys think as far as, are we really going to see EPL, that soon? Or because I think with it, and especially in English place, because their prime minister actually did catch coronavirus, I think he has a much different perspective as compared to certain orange head faces over here. But yeah, like what do you?
Well, no, but that's even for the people who've caught it, they're still saying preposterous things. Like Rand Paul today, he was talking to Andy Fauci. He talking crazy, and he caught it. So it's not like just because you caught it doesn't wake you up. No, if you're ignorant, you're still ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's still so much we still don't know. I feel like a broken record each time we talk about this, but like, if they ready to do it and they ready to deal with the consequences of players and coaches and staff getting sick, and then they're probably going to shut down again from that point on, because then you got quarantine, it's going to delay. So it's like, all right, if you want to do that, I know we're all itching to have some type of sports entertainment. Mm-hmm. And trust me, we're all in that. What's that song? That bored in the house and I'm bored, chilling in the board, whoever song that is. We all that right now. Mm-hmm. And we all want any type of sports entertainment we can get. But at the same time, like, nobody knows what the right way of going about this. I'm not saying I know either, because I got to deal with my own issue with running a youth sports program. We'll get to that in a second. But at the same time, like, nobody, especially here in the States, is frustrating me. Nobody's ahead of the curve. Nobody's really like seen a real dramatic 2-week down period of cases and tests and all those markers here in the States, at least, all those markers that we said will qualify us to get back to a quote unquote reopening. I don't know. I mean, like again, like I said, in England, in Germany too, like they still having teams that are getting positive cases over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I'm
all
saying
right,
positive. Like, I mean, they're say, hey, they test positive. I guess they're gonna say, hey, we'll just play without those guys. We're good.
all right.
And that's what is getting really weird at this point because, it's like I said, and we talked about this in previous weeks, like especially like the big 4 or 5 leagues, England, Spain, France. Of course, France already said fuck it, and Italy. There's so much money invested into those leagues that it's like we pretty much have to kind of drag this season out, kicking and screaming no matter what. And I think that's what you're going to see is that if players do test positive, we say, hey, you're going over here. We're going to go ahead and keep going. Like this, I wonder at what point do players just say, you know what, we ain't good with it. Because I know like some players have already voiced their opinions, and they've been saying like, hey, I don't feel comfortable doing this, and I'm like, I guess they're kind of left at a point where they have no choice but to play.
Yeah, I gotta say it's also. I mean, and Shaw and Tika, y'all can chime in and even bring it to the local state side. So like, it's always weird watching these videos from certain teams, especially in MLS, where like, oh, we're back at the training, this and that, whatever. And like, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, we'll see how long this lasts. We'll see when we're at to go back and ship dudes back into quarantine. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So that's gonna be the real test right there. Is that once the games restart, it's gonna be like, okay, then somebody tests positive. It's like, okay, what's gonna be the protocol there? Like, do we go right back to okay, everything shut down? We gotta let this shit pass through, and you're gonna have to ask yourself like, is getting these games not gonna be worth it?
So I mean. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Shaw.
I was going to say, let us not forget UFC, just restarted. And they just had an event without fans, televised event. And there was one fighter that tested positive out of all of the other fighters, the staff they tested several hundred people. And it was one person that tested positive. They kicked him out, quarantined him, and canceled his scheduled bout and carried on. So they didn't let one test, derail the entire event. But like to your point, this is a different sport. So it's like, how do you handle that when it comes to soccer? And there's
look who's people running that. Look who's running the UFC.
True.
Dana White.
True.
I mean. He's not exactly the person that I'm like, yeah, he's got my best interest at stake right now. He's really concerned about my health. Fuck out of here. No, he's not. Nah.
But no, I think that like I said, some leagues will be like, hey, we got to figure this shit out, and then some will be like, hey, it's just not enough money here for us to figure this out. Of course. Here, stateside, MLS apparently has had a proposal of having all 26 teams, everyone stateside, everyone in Canada, all coming down to Orlando.
Woohoo!
And playing their games there. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, Orlando is home to the Wide World of Sports out on the Disneyland land, and they basically have like a shit ton of pitches to where they can all play games on and get their matches and everything.
That's like Disney Cup and all the national tournaments where
pitches suck.
And you still have the stadium where Orlando City plays, not too far away. So,
and Camping World.
But they'll definitely have options as far as getting their games in, and everyone kind of staying in the mostly centralized location. I know the NBA and MLB has proposed similar scenarios elsewhere around the country. And I mean, all things considered, if they're going to get games in, I don't see any other scenario to where this can really work. I mean, of course, there's other cities to where it's available, but just a general, put everybody all in one spot, I think it's all a choice.
I think it could work. I mean, Florida deemed sports essential several weeks ago, as we talked about in a previous episode. The WWE has been operating for weeks on television. And like you said, Wild World of Sports, Orlando's FC's facility, and then also their former facility that also hosts a buku of events. Camping World is also available. Not to mention other facilities on the outside of Orlando.
Citrus Bowl, though. I don't know what Camping World is. It's Citrus Bowl.
Well, Citrus Bowl, okay. Correction. And then other facilities on the outskirts of Orlando you can also consider. So, I mean, it's a move. Even if you don't concentrate everyone at Disney, I think there's still enough space to separate clubs and still get in competition and have space. And then plus it's a good place because they have adequate housing to house everybody. There's lots of hotel space. So
that's the biggest part, I think, as far as housing of not only the players but also the staff and trainers. That's a key thing. I think if anybody has the actual infrastructure for multiple teams like that, that might be the best solution. I can't think. I mean, obviously, there's several pockets throughout the states that have plenty of tournament venues, but a lot of them don't have the housing to go with it. They do have the housing. It's usually local hotels where you really got to figure out how to logistically, block off floors and stuff like that to make sure players and staff are not, coming in contact with others and everything like that. So, when I saw that proposal, that's the one I was like, okay, I can see that happen. It ain't gonna be fun, but at the same time, like, that's the one I think logistically is probably the best solution.
Oh yeah, because on top of the hotels, of course, you got all the Airbnbs that they're getting used up right now. But like, hey, I still want to go ahead and rent my house out, and there's when you think about it, there's 26 teams. There's at least 25 players per team, so you're probably looking at around 450 to 500 off top, and like I said, staff.
Well, one team you don't have to worry about.
Orlando, they're already good.
Yep.
So I think logistically speaking, it works. And like I said, if the goal is to play this year, which I don't think that unless it's in the position to where they can just not play at all. They need this seems like the best scenario. I mean, there's other spots to where it probably would be less contaminated, so to speak, like Kansas City or maybe Minnesota, something like that. But like Tony said, given the amenities that are needed here, Orlando's probably one of your best spots that you can ask for. So, of course, we'll see how that goes because MLS still hasn't figured out what they're going to do yet. But
what would be cool about that too, though? It probably would be like the closest thing to like high school sports where you go to them tournaments and you sit around watching other teams like, yo, they trash. Yo, look at them. Yeah, they sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like team camp. That's the closest thing they'll have to like team camp.
What if they're standing like watch the game like, he ain't shit, man.
Yeah, because like when you watch the NCAA tournament and they're regionally based and them teams are waiting watching other teams, they like, man, he trash, man. He can't go left. You know what I'm saying? That'll probably be the closest situation that I have for them.
This is a cash cow for Disney as well. I think they currently, from the financial standpoint, they're only making money off of Disney Plus. They furloughed shit tons of workers throughout the parks. They just now reopened Disney in China, and that's just kind of a limits test in itself.
It's China.
They're going to have a limited amount of people that they're letting into the theme park. So we'll see in China.
I saw that down in Miami. Well, the NFL, of course, they're still trying to work their shit out too, and I think Miami had mentioned like a plan of like where they would have like 25% of their capacity to come in onto games. So and I'm probably going to say this for 2 Up, 2 Down, but I think this needs to really be emphasized that when you let fans in, that means you need security, that means you need concessions, that means you need more staff than you probably would need if it was an empty seat stadium. And why put more people at risk right now? Just tell people, watch your games on TV, support them from afar. Hopefully, maybe your local bar, be like, hey, we're cool letting about 10 of y'all to come in and everything, but
got to be first.
Man, listen.
Just saying.
Georgia's a different story, but I think for the major league, just like how we talked about it earlier, there's a lot. Like you put a lot of people at risk. I know. From what me and Tony were talking about before we started recording, that like youth sports has like a really big dilemma to really work out here. Like, tell us about that, Tony.
All right, so here locally, it's crazy that obviously we've been on the stay-at-home orders as far as like not having any type of physical activities for youth sports, but given the fact that we live in the state of Georgia, things are definitely loosening up a lot, to say the least. And with that being said, today got the email from Georgia Soccer, which is the governing body for soccer here, for youth soccer in the state of Georgia, saying that after midnight Friday night that there is the return to play, which is, I think, a little bit surprising early. They did set this as like another deadline, as that they'll reevaluate, and apparently they reevaluated and thought that it's safe to have kids participating in a contact sport. Mm-hmm. It's funny because everything for like the next 2 or 3 months has already been canceled, as far as like tournaments and all these other invitationals and things like that. Those things have been canceled.
Dragon Con, so bro, like fuck.
So, but it's like, and a lot of the tryouts, for the select levels and everything like that, tryouts is going to be May 26th. So that was going to go on no matter what. And a lot of clubs were figuring out how to do that. A lot of them were like doing virtual tryouts. And so that was one way of doing it. I think they were doing in-person tryouts too, where they were going to practice, some type of social distancing. Wait. I know. Trust me. I know. It all of it is mind-boggling, and that's just the current state of what we're in. But even for myself, the organization, the program I run, like I feel it's too early. I definitely know it's too early, and especially with with the low-income kids that have a lack of access to things already as it is, who probably will have a harder chance of getting tests and this and that, whatever. I think it's just irresponsible doing it right now. That's my opinion. Of course, I got to talk with others and evaluate things and stuff like that. But I think May 15th/16th is too early, too soon. It's too soon. I was looking more of like, June 1st we reevaluate, because obviously the state has not taken this serious enough. The numbers are not – all the guidelines they said to reopen, we have not checked any of those boxes. So it makes no sense that, okay, out in public – we're still mandated by this stuff, but yet and still we're going to expose our kids and their parents and these coaches and these trainers to the possibility. It makes no sense to me.
And what about the liability?
I'm on the soapbox.
What about the liability that kind of comes into place there? Because I mean, they're saying that it's okay for everyone to basically play as normal in that environment. Like, what happens when a kid or a parent says somehow test positive, and then we're like, oh shit, we gotta. Does that?
Well, and that's one of the questions I have for them in the general meeting on Thursday, is that during this time period to stay at home, if we as a coach and players if we were to gather and to have some type of training, that player and coach are no longer covered insurance-wise. You avoided that if you were to do any type of training during this stay-at-home period. But now that it's opened up, that means we are theoretically back to being insured by practicing and playing. My question is then, okay, if we get hit up with, several players or coaches get infected or whatever, and then we got quarantine again, we got quarantine our club, how is that? Are we going to be covered in these things? Are we going to be makes no sense to me. We are not in the clear. We are not in the clear. So I don't know. I think it's a little ambitious. I think a lot of pressure is because the organization is probably not doing well financially. Georgia Soccer, I think probably a lot of pressure is coming from some other clubs. I don't know. That's just speculation. And I think that, a lot of people are stir crazy and they're like, okay, it seems to be at a decent level. The kids are stir crazy. School is out, literally school is out this week or next week for a lot of schools. So let's get them out and playing. Let's reward them. But are you willing to take that risk and that cost?
What y'all got, TK?
Is for is it for the money, for the financial reasons? Because who does this really serve? The kids? Even if they are still at a place where they're engaged and in their mental, prepared to go back to training and come back to the game at this point in time, who is this for? What good does this serve to come back in this specific moment for this organization?
I can only really see the, like I said, the clubs. They're really the only ones that benefit. I mean, I think the thing that they're really taking into consideration there is that there's a lot of parents out here who are out of work right now. We have record numbers found for unemployment, and funds are tight right now. And I think that the idea that everything's just gonna just suddenly just pop back to normal is not realistic. Because just as you have people who are out of work, of course, eventually they have to find work too, and that can take some time as well. And I think that the people who think that we're at the point where we can just, it's going to just snap right back, that's not going to happen. We got the NCAA kind of run into the same thing as well, where the president of the NCAA was basically saying that there can be no college sports without actual college, because students are still studying from home as well. And just like how Tony was getting at, you're dealing with kids who are playing pretty much for nothing. They're not getting paid. They're not getting shit. It's different from professional athletes where they're under contract to play and they're getting paid to play. Those kids, whether it's rec sports, club sports, college sports, none of them are getting paid. And you can't tell me with a straight face that you're going to put these kids and young adults out there at risk of exposure, and then just say, hey, it is what it is. If they test positive after that, that shit doesn't work at all, at all.
Yeah, there's also something else in play too, especially when it comes to Georgia Soccer. There's a lot of clubs who are not happy with the organization as a whole, and I think they're feeling pressure to try to appease, certain stakeholders. And so I think that's also what's at play here. But again, I'll find out more information on Thursday on our Zoom call. It's going to be a weird time, man. I don't know. I don't have the facilities for that, man. I don't. I'm not opening the facilities.
What you got over there, Rashad?
Just I don't know, just a lot going on in my head as far as just all of this stuff. Just I don't know, just today and just this week, I've just kind of been looking at numbers and just looking at trends and just been evaluating and looking at a lot of things. It's just interesting that we're going and we're going forward with opening things up. We're moving forward. And to many of Tony's sentiments, I don't know if we're ready. I don't know. I'm still wrapping my head around so much of this stuff because so many people are eager and ready to get going, and then you start to hear these more of the people that are saying, well, if the younger are the young and healthy are ready to go, let them go back to work and keep the older people safe. And you look at that argument and say, well, is that even a responsible thing to say?
No, because everybody got to go home eventually, and once you go home, you're putting yourself right back into that bucket where you're at risk. So, but
Can I ask a cultural question?
What you got, man?
Okay, this is on topic. Don't worry. Y'all been out in public lately, right?
Yeah.
Maybe go to the grocery store, get some gas, go get some snacks. I don't know.
My snacks.
Now, I don't know what part of towns you might have gone into where the cultural demographic makeup might be, but where I live here in Southwest Atlanta, I noticed that our people, they'll have the mask on, but it's just chilling, like right here underneath the chin, not covering a damn thing. And like so many people doing that. And that's where I'm just like, what's the point?
No.
What's the point wearing it?
I saw somebody up at Murder Kroger over the weekend, and they had the mask like right underneath their nose. And I saw a meme over the weekend talking about like basically the equivalent of that is basically like walking around with your dick hanging out.
Yep.
And I'm like,
or cutting the tip off on a condom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've seen that actually a lot. I've seen that where people, where's my mask? Yeah, they demonstration. So most people are wearing their mask below their mouth, right? So if you see the YouTube, I'm doing a demonstration right now. But I've been seeing it like you said, like this.
Dude.
Like, what's the point? Like, what's the point?
Dude, what's wrong with our people, man? Like, I seen people, like, when I went to Target, same thing. The Target employees chilling with it just underneath their chin, just like.
No. Did you see the chick on social media that cut it through, like cut a hole in her mask through her mouth?
So she could breathe.
Wow. The logic of people. I don't.
Dude, I try to tell people common sense is not common. It's gone. It's gone.
Convenient.
Go ahead, TK.
Thus.
It's about whatever's convenient, man. People want to live in this like instantly gratified world where like, yeah, I should do this. This like asinine idea pops up into your head to cut a mask, which is filtering things between your lips and what you're breathing in. And now shit's crazy.
So here's my next question to the culture. What's the dopest mask you've seen out in the streets?
I just like the ones with the air things on the side. I'm simple on that shit.
The painter's mask are usually. I'm like, I always like. I've seen a couple, maybe probably 3 or 4 people with like painter's mask on, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Like you just had that. You know, you didn't do anything. You didn't freak out when COVID happened. You're just like, I got a mask. Paint for a living, or you know, in my free time. Hold on, is it the real one though? Because they tell you if it's like rated N95 or if you should even use that. But that's folks watching YouTube. This is essentially the model that we are talking about. This is
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plot.
Yeah.
But you gotta have the filters, man. You're stuck out of luck if you don't have the replacement filters that go on each side by the pink.
But before we go on break,
wait. The reason why I asked that question, I saw one dude with like this Louis Vuitton mask that like had these like special slits. It looked like one of those like workout masks, but then it had the Louis Vuitton logos here. But like it looked like it was actually like nicely done. It didn't look like a knockoff. And it looked like he almost went to the store just so he could stun it. You know what I'm saying? And part of me was like,
And
I love my people.
I think I might know what mask you're talking about. I think I might have seen that on socials.
wait till summertime hits, because everybody's going to be getting all summertime cute and everything. Oh yeah, the designer shit's going to get real. But
The one thing about black folks, man, we'll make anything. I mean, anything into.
I love it, man. That's what it's about, man. That's about culture, baby. We got to spread that culture.
Tell Maybelline, tell Mac, tell Bobby Brown, tell all of them that they might be hurt this year. They may be hurt this year.
But yeah, before we go on break, we'll be remiss if we didn't make note of some passings that happened over the weekend. Of course, we lost Andre Harrell of Uptown Records. He's the guy who basically found Diddy and the phenomenon of Bad Boy and everything. We also lost Little Richard, the real father of rock and roll. One thing I didn't know about him is that I didn't realize he gave Jimi Hendrix his start.
Yep. Sure did.
That's
sure did.
Did
you ever watch that? What's that? Mike Judge.
Oh yeah, I know you.
Animated Tales. Yo, yeah. Watch the one on Little Richard. That's because that's where they talk about it too with Jimi Hendrix, or the one on Jimi Hendrix where they talk about it. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's another great Georgia legend. Sam Cooke. You got James Brown. You got Little Richard.
Keep going.
And the list goes on and on.
I heard the joke over the weekend talking about John Lennon and Elvis saw Little Richard come up to heaven and be like, oh, y'all think y'all cute. But and it hurt also Betty Wright, old R&B singer from the 70s. And then my main man, my brother from another mother, Jerry Stiller. Serenity Now.
Hey, man, don't forget about Roy from Siegfried and Roy.
Yep, sure did.
She died from COVID.
From COVID, yeah.
How does he survive a tiger attack but did die from COVID? I mean, bro.
Life is crazy when it throws shit at you like that.
That's why you gotta stay ass at home, man.
Hey, man, he trained for tigers, not for COVID.
COVID, like, man, I'm stronger than these tigers. Fuck out of here.
But, yeah, he trained for tigers. He didn't train for COVID.
Exactly.
There are differences here, guys.
But yeah, take a quick break, pay a quick bill. We'll be back. We talk, get our weekly recap of The Last Dance and get some 2 Up to Now. We'll be back in a few.
Going on, people. The culture is back. It's for the culture. And we're back here with the second part of the show. Grego, Rashad, TK, and you got Coach Tony here as well.
And all TK's cats.
Cats, yes.
I got to put up the background, man. They're kind of getting a little crazy tonight.
Bombing your video, dude.
There we go.
There you go. Mama, there go that man again.
But yo, guys, have y'all, of course, we did not recap the latest week of The Last Dance.
How about it? I'm always ready to talk about Last Dance.
So I didn't catch it, guys. I'll be honest. So I have not seen 7 and 8. So
Insecure?
Whoever has seen it, take us away.
Okay. Are you watching Insecure on Sundays? Like, what's good, man? Because Molly tripping hard. but yeah, Last Dance. The big thing that came out of that was, of course, talking about MJ's first retirement back in 1993. And I love how they're telling a great story as far as Mike ain't get pushed out, because I'm like, everything that I've seen and paid attention to, especially with how they broke down, I guess, the level of gambling that he was doing back then. I think that there's a saying that goes like sometimes you got to take down your king to win the game. And I think that they definitely presented Mike with a situation of like, hey, we found this, and we can either suspend you or retire.
So you one of those, huh?
Because let's think about it.
You one of those. All right. Okay.
What good does it serve the NBA to suspend your best player? And from a marketing standpoint, from a PR standpoint, yeah, your best player has been caught up gambling, which of course back then was just like the super taboo. Of course, they were just coming off of Pete Rose getting suspended a few years before them, and your biggest player was caught up in gambling as well. Like,
do you think Mike gambled on games?
No, I don't think I bet on games. But I think just like to the point of where it got to the point where they could no longer avoid, especially with his father getting killed just shortly before that. Now, granted, I do think that it was probably good timing for him to take some time off just to kind of get his me time in and everything. But I definitely think that if he got caught up in that hurts him and it hurts the league whenever he would decide to come back. And like I said, I say fight me on that one because I'm like, I don't see if he did nothing wrong, like it would have taken a action of God to just say, hey, we're just cool with you just retiring just like right now. Nah.
Well, you got.
Go for it, Tony.
No, I think also like okay, so I remember being a kid during that time, and all that speculation first of all about his father being murdered because of his gambling debts. And when the media kept pushing that story, like that was when I remember part of me was trying to figure out like if there was some, legit reasoning for that. But when it came all out, like it was a lot of just random, these are some stick-up boys trying, get payday. And as far as like the retirement aspect of it, I mean, I never have bought into that aspect that he was taking that kind of taking that plea bargain, if you will, of going to play baseball and everything like that. I really do think that
was a convenient diversion away from that, but just so that way he doesn't just go completely out of shape. But
I don't subscribe to that, man. I don't subscribe to that one. I gotta disagree with you on that one. I just don't see it. But I do remember God, it was cringeworthy watching him play baseball. And obviously everybody became a White Sox fan at that time. I remember, White Sox hats were back up in sale, and of course that Birmingham Black Barons B. It's a dope B on the hat. Like I like that B. But I remember too, like there was all the stories about, him, upgrading their team bus. So you saw the Birmingham Black Barons team bus, like that thing was kitted out. It was fresh, and it was just like, yo, this is definitely a benefit of playing with Mike Jordan on your team. And you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know this part that they released is that the reason why he played Double-A was because none of the single-A teams had the capacity. They didn't have the facilities, man. They didn't have the facilities to house all the media, fanfare that would follow Jordan. So none of the single-A teams could support that. And so the only teams that were capable of doing that were within the Double-A system. I never knew that aspect of it.
For those of you who haven't done it, who haven't watched it before, if you do have access to ESPN Plus, go watch the 30 for 30 Jordan Rides the Bus. It basically covers his year in Birmingham, which I think we mentioned a few weeks back. There's really a 30 for 30 chronology as far as events go. And, this would be the perfect time if you haven't done so already to watch that 30 for 30 Jordan Rides the Bus. Basically has a lot of the same guys that you saw up in part 7 and how his time in Birmingham. Of course, for those of you who see on
bus.
We
Get
got
on the bus.
a picture of the Birmingham Jordan bus. But I will say this, and this is something that, as I've gotten older, it really says a whole lot. For someone who is 30 years old, who hadn't played really any baseball at all in at least a good 12, 15 years, hitting 200 at that level actually is a real achievement. And
that ain't that bad. No, he went on a hitting streak too. That was the other thing about it. He was on a hitting streak.
I think if he had been like 4 years younger and had the same amount of time, of course, the baseball strike that happened that next year kind of jacked everything up. But I do think that had it worked out, I don't think it would have been possible to see him make it to the major league roster. But if he had more time available to him, but I also think that there is no way that he wasn't going to come back. That I don't see how that would have ever happened.
All right. So can we really get into the meat of the conversation?
What?
Like, all right. So I really got to talk about the GP aspect, Gary Payton, because Gary Payton, when I was in high school, that was my nickname on my basketball team. They called me the glove. I wore number 20 because of GP. I was defensive specialist. I was ready to watch that story. But two, also the stuff with
Scott
Burrell, and also B.J. Armstrong. That aspect of B.J. Armstrong, I had totally forgotten that B.J. went off on him that first game in that playoff series when he was playing with the Hornets after he left the Wolves. And the other thing, they didn't even talk about this part, but it was known that Michael Jordan's kids, their favorite player on the Chicago Bulls, guess who it was? B.J. Armstrong.
He looks damn near the same.
That was the thing about it. He looked like a little kid back then. He still looks the same now. And so, when his kids were growing up, he was the one who looked like a little kid. And his sons were like, yeah, we like BJ. Yeah, BJ Armstrong. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool to see that aspect and hear him talk. And him even to admit, yeah, I had that one good game, but that next game, get torched.
It's amazing to me, just the amount of, I guess, for someone, when you're at that type of level, basically you have to kind of play mental chess with yourself as far as just creating shit in your head to kind of give yourself that edge and go after people. Because I've noticed Tom Brady's kind of had that same mentality as well. And I think later on we would hear about Kobe having that same type of complex. But the thing about that, of course, a lot of people are talking about is the leadership statement that he made, just, because, of course, like you saw those past episodes, he's a bit of a dick to a lot of his players. And, he's getting in fights, basically calling teammates Scott Burrell bitches and hoes and shit, basically kind of, needling them and pushing them, to be better than what they are. And
Jordan was that coach in high school that you fucking hated.
Yeah, he was at no.
I was watching First Take this morning, and the comparison that I heard actually makes so much sense in the world, and you'll probably get it when I tell you, Tony. Bobby Knight.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a player's version of that. I mean, well, yeah, I think, and that was the thing where you saw him, get emotional when he was talking about, because you could see that it takes a toll on him. He's obviously lost friendships. He's obviously had tough times with, his relationships. The fact that he's so on and so competitive 24/7, that takes a toll, and you're going to have casualties with that. And so he and BJ Armstrong talked about it. He was like, yeah, he was an ass. He was hard to be with, but at the same time, because he went that route, that's a sacrifice he chose type of thing. And so he was like, if I'm going to be the best and I'm going to get the best out of my teammates so that we can be the best and have this dynasty, I'm not trying to make friends. You know what I'm saying? So, that was the legit part of what he was trying to say in that situation. But you saw him tearing up because he knows that's taking a toll, and that's obviously that he's going to be judged for that.
Yeah, I think, when you look back at, your life and, the relationships that you've had and you've made, and you realize that, hey, some of that shit, when you look back at it, probably wasn't cool. And, but at the same time, like it's a means to an end. And I think in Mike's case, like I said, it's something that I don't know what's going on over here, but it's something that he's very, defensive about. But at the same time, I think he's proud with the result, and it's very interesting that I think that what brought him to tears is the fact that he knows that he feels that what he did was worth it.
Yeah. But again, he knows that he lost a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest story though, I think, was when he talked about old boy from the Washington Bullets, and when old boy, I can't remember his name.
Bradford.
Yeah. And so, Buddy's rookie came from where did he come from? What school did he come from? Oh, he came from Louisville. Rookie, he was I think a 6th pick or something like that. Against the Bullets, dude drops 37 on Mike. And so Mike, there's a story that Mike goes and tells that Robert has said while they were leaving the courts, Bulls lost, Bullets won. And for y'all don't know, Bullets are what we call the Washington Wizards now, just in case.
Because some of y'all are young.
Yeah. But the story was that while they were dabbing each up after the game, the old boy said to Mike, "Hey, yeah, good game," type of thing. And Mike used that at his bulletin board material and was like, "Yo, this mother told me good game after he dropped 37 on me. I'm gonna get what he scored that whole game in the first half." And sure enough, the next game they go cross country. I mean, not cross country. They go, back to Chicago for a back-to-back game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Dude drops 36 in the first half on that fool.
I love.
And the thing that comes out about it is that old boy didn't even say that to Mike. Mike just used that as his gas for himself to yo, I'm gonna get back at this dude.
That's what I'm saying. That's Viper, motive. You don't even need. You just gas up yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's a great man. There's George's the greatest man. I'm going to say that. He's the GOAT, man. If Last Dance didn't convince you of that, episode 9 ain't gonna do it. But whatever.
You know what? I hope they do. You know how they do with Bachelor, Bachelorette. They're after the rose.
Tell me more. I want to know all the details.
There needs to be an after the last dance type of where they're there and they all talking about that. That would be my dream scenario to put the nice little cherry on top type of thing.
It's got to be all the personalities though, or this won't be as good though. I agree. That'll be something to watch.
But yeah, one last thing I will say, just to kind of cap that off before we go up two down, that one thing to keep in mind is that there are different leadership types. His way isn't the only way, because you'll never mistake Tim Duncan for being that same type of alpha personality that Michael Jordan is, but at the same time, he got results as well.
Does he have 6 rings? That's what they're gonna say at the barbershop, man. That's what they're gonna say. That's why he only got 2, 3. He ain't got 6. Wow, that's right. He ain't got 6 though. He ain't got 6.
But yeah, man. But yeah, of course, the last 2 episodes come out this weekend, so definitely looking forward to that. But before we wrap up with two up and two down, just of course a heads up with everyone's orders for the Culture Black and White jersey. Most of y'all should have gotten your emails. Just letting you know that it should take a couple of weeks for the jersey to get produced and mailed out. You probably get them towards the end of the month, probably somewhere around Memorial Day weekend. So
woohoo! Barbecuing with them on.
So be on the lookout for that. Of course, we still have 15% off on all our existing merch on FTC, utt.myshopify.com with the promo code 4 stars. So definitely get up on that. T-shirts, name sets. Of course, a lot of you have been asking about the name sets for a while. Clubhouse Athletic, our guys who made the jerseys, are actually hooking us up with our existing orders for our name sets. So shout out to Adam and the crew there. They actually should be on the way this week. So you'll be getting emails from us letting you know that they're on the way and all that good stuff. But let's get this let's turn this baby in and get the 2 up, 2 down, man. What you got, Rashad?
I'm gonna start with my so I guess I'll start with my downs. I'll say just to let people know here, I say around the country. So just to let people know, like, grocery prices are rising, and this is unfortunate because people need to eat. So prices of certain items in the grocery stores are rising, but at the same time, there's people that are out there taking advantage of the consumer, and they're price gouging. So be on the lookout for if anything looks suspicious in your grocery stores, in your supermarkets, in your corner stores, wherever you shop. If it doesn't look right and it looks like the merchants are trying to take advantage of you, report it to the proper authorities. Here in Georgia, there's certain, in your state, it may be your attorney general. There's consumer lines here in Georgia that take care of that. Just do some research in your local areas to see what proper authorities you need to report price gouging. And then also here, another down that quickly turned to an up. There were about 17 to 20,000 teenagers here that took advantage of getting their driver's licenses without taking the road test. So it was a provision put in by our great governor here. Our great governor of Georgia, that allowed people that were that were teenagers or young adults that didn't have a license to go and take the driving exam without having to drive the car to get their license. So they have a license, but now they put a provision into by September or something that they have to actually go and take the driving portion. So what I thought was about to be hellacious has turned to a transition for my 2 ups. So we also mentioned that Bundesliga returns this week. So I will be prepared to watch Dortmund. Take you down, Tony. Okay. What you got, Tony? So for our listeners, we're recording right now, so I have my Dortmund in the screen. I think Tony's about to go and try to show me off with his garbage Schalke.
Definitely.
Where you at, Tony? Oh, there he is. Okay.
That's problem.
I'll take it. We're about to. The world will be watching. Probably
had ratings for this league this weekend.
Yeah. So our ATL club, we got a Zoom party this weekend. We're going to be watching the match. So you want to join in, Tony? You're more than welcome to join us. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually going to put this on for the rest of the recording while I give my last up. And for my last up, I just want to say thank you to everybody who reached out in my time of need. You guys have been phenomenal and amazing, man. For those that didn't hear a couple recordings ago, I lost my father, and I've been going through this for the last couple of weeks. And we just had his services this past Friday, and it was just a beautiful day. And like I said, I just want to, say thank you to everyone that reached out, your cards, your phone calls, your text messages, even your thoughts and prayers have been gladly appreciated. And I can't say thank you enough. So thank you once again.
So I guess we got to, get the Schalke side. So what you got, Tony?
It looks good, though.
you're gonna do this like this signing day. Hold up, I got put the kit on and everything like that. Hold up.
Hey man, it's just me. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. It don't matter. You know, just saying. You know, this is cool. This is cool for the culture. You know.
There we go.
Saying the world will be watching this weekend. Like everybody's looking forward to action, and they're looking forward to Bundesliga, and they're looking forward to this match. Surprisingly, so this is pretty cool. You know.
Yeah.
No, it'll be a good time, man. I can't wait. We need to. Why don't we videos tape ourselves watching the match?
What time is that?
Who cares? It'll be even greater if they're in
9:30 in the morning, fire time.
Yeah, remember like you were last week? You'd be like, I'm waking up to watch Europe, but I'm putting my money towards this.
Yeah, see what happened was like this quarantine life, man, and sports not going on. I've gotten used to sleeping in on Saturdays, man. Like,
hey, you get a pass, man. You get a pass.
Let me tell you, like, even my daughter Memphis is like, Daddy, we get to sleep in this weekend?
Pancakes at 1 p.m. Okay. Pancakes at 1 p.m. Okay.
There we go.
Up to us.
All right, so you know what? I'm continuing my trend, y'all. It's growth, progress. You know, I've always been the old man in the rocking chair. I've been the negative Nancy, the Debbie Downer, you know, all that. So this week, no downs, 2 ups. I know. It's crazy. I'm trying to put out that positivity out there in the air for us to get, you know, things rolling. So my 2 positive things. Guilty confession. I'm a Hamilton fan. Love the soundtrack. Love the mixtape. So when it got announced that Hamilton is going to be on Disney Plus come July 3rd, I'm excited about that. So all my Hamiltonian friends
over the weekend. Like I just watched the play for the first time over the weekend. So
gotcha. Yeah. So Disney Plus just dropped that announcement this week that Hamilton will be coming July 3rd. So I'm looking forward to that. What were you saying, TK?
They some of the Broadway plays have announced they're doing like streaming to like, you know, just engage with people to get on the Broadway train. So could be one. I'm not sure. I still haven't seen it myself. Continue.
Dude, it's one of those things, like, it's a guilty pleasure. I ain't gonna lie. You know,
It's good. You know,
it's a great way to learn history, man. It's a great way to learn history.
There you go.
And then my other plus today, I had a parent-teacher conference from Memphis. Baby girl doing well. She's going to kindergarten next year. She passed pre-K. She going to kindergarten in the fall, y'all. So, you know, graduation's happening on May 20th virtually. It's a proud dad moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like, you gotta see videos of Memphis on Coach's socials. Like, yo, she's a grown ass woman.
Like, she's a teenager, man. She's 5 going on 16, man. Both me and her mom are just like, yo, we are not ready for this. Not ready for this, man. But seriously, like, you know, it was a glowing report. The parent-teacher conference was held virtually, which is, of course, you know, it's the way of life right now.
When I was a kid, like, hey, like y'all need to be around for this.
Dial modem ready for that shit.
Nah,
but it was all good stuff today.
It's okay.
So that's my 2 up, no downs for me.
All right, TK, what you got?
All right, T. I'm gonna do a down real quick. Shout out to Andre Rinaldi and the family and friends of Andre Rinaldi. He is a Atalanta player. He recently passed away. The kid is 19 years old, so he had a lot of life ahead of him. But he had a hell of an impact, obviously being on the Atalanta squad at the age of 19. So we just want to say rest in peace, blessed to him and his family and friends, and all those affected by his loss. He died by an aneurysm this past week. My second down is going to be Newcastle and the ongoing Saudi Arabia deal, if you will. The Premier League is now going into a second or tertiary review, if you will, based on some information, and it's just highlights. I wish I had. Yeah, that works. Highlights the hypocrisy that really is all about the dollar bill, the pound, the euro, I wish I knew what it was in Saudi Arabia, but it's all about money, folks, because it just sucks to hear that. But yeah, they basically are only now interested in doing this tertiary or secondary review of the Saudi government, not because they killed a bunch of people and they have tons and tons of human rights abuses against the country, but because that there is an illegal streaming pirating network that displays Premier League games. And that's a big no. That's Premier League money. And if you're not Premier League, no, you can't be fucking up on the stream. So, yeah, that's a big down. Big up is yesterday I celebrated birthday here in the Peacemanson household. It was Katie's birthday, and
snap. Birthday and Mother's Day all the same?
Yeah, man. Mother's Day and then it was birthday. So, I did Ringo and just
big for Mother's Day from now on.
Oh, yo. You hear TK take shots right there? TK just took a shot. Did you say you did pull a Ringo?
I'm just saying.
And what are sound effects when you need them?
Ringo's got 3 kids. I have 1 on the way. So I can see, maybe he's got to do other duties that I don't yet have.
Yeah, nah, take your shot, TK. Call him out.
It's just the way it is. My
way to keep it professional, TK.
Interject right after I this. My second up is going to be Camp Horizon. We had our family reunion. If you guys don't know, Camp Horizon is the nonprofit that I work with. We deal with children here in the Atlanta area, and it's equally hard, as Tony has highlighted, on trying to run a youth sports program. Well, it's equally as hard trying to run a nonprofit, reaching out to underage kids and at-risk kids in the community, especially those who are in a lower income situation. So my point being is we had our family reunion this weekend. This is an up. It was great to see all the kids. We had 41 kids and 35 volunteers, all on a Zoom conference. It was delightful. We were able to give them instructions and do artsy craftsy things. It was great. So I just want to end that on a positive and pass it over to Grego.
Cool. Now, hopefully, you guys are still listening here. I just wanted to, I actually wanted to devote most of my time to something that's was going on over the weekend. That, of course, that been taking over the news here in Georgia and nationwide. But before we go into that, my quick up is Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, their versus IG live battle. Of course, those women are very near and dear to my heart. But I will say this, IG got to step your shit up, because some of that audio, it just sounds, that format is quickly exceeding what IG can do. And yeah, they need to find either IG needs to upgrade their platform, or need to find it, or versus need to find somewhere else like Facebook or YouTube to do their shit. It's a mess more often than not. I know this week they got Ludacris and Nelly.
Grego, did you hear about the new one that might be coming down the pipeline?
No, what's up?
Jay-Z versus Snoop Dogg.
That'd be dope. I don't know if that's a good. I mean, they both got bangers and they both go back, way back. But
I just dropped that grenade there. Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves.
Tell them what's going on here in Georgia, Grego.
But one more thing, just a quick humorous down. Kyle Walker, he had to apologize this past week. Of course, everyone's starting to come back to training. He had sex workers, hookers, hoes up to the crib. Everybody was on quarantine.
Put it in the butt.
The corona booty is real. I know we all got needs, but you got to be smart on this shit, man. But yeah, the big thing here, of course, I had mentioned it during last week's 2 Up, 2 Down. Ahmaud Arbery, that's basically been the big thing that's come out the past week or so. For those of you who've been on the rock the past couple of days, he's the young man who got shot down in Brunswick County, Georgia, back in February, and they're just now filing charges against the men who shot him. Basically, they tried to say that he was a burglar in the neighborhood, and kind of find out that's all bullshit. And
That was a lie, all a lie.
And the DAs down in Brunswick County and Wayside, they basically sat on it for the last 2-3 months, not pressing charges. And it wasn't until the video that came out last week, basically laid it out there, said, nah, that was just a straight up murder, like just out of cold blood. And it's always sad because it's a lot. You talk about especially down here in Georgia and the South in general, it's tough being black. You can be running while black, driving while black, going out in the park while black, all that shit. And it's his birthday was last Friday, and he would have been just 26. For us, like we're in our 30s now. It always sounds weird, like when you hear about people dying that young, like a player. It's like you don't think about that kind of shit like when you're that age, but then you get older and you actually get past the point you're like, so these guys are really young. Like nobody wants to get taken out when really you probably haven't done a whole lot in your life at that point as of yet. And it's unfortunate that we still, as black men, as black people, as people of color, we are fighting against systems that are actively working against, our existence. And I'm one of those people, like I'm not content with just the guys being arrested. Like, nah, let me know when, they get guilty and you up in here getting death. Because I'm like, at this point, you're basically at the point where you've had the system work, to basically hide this shit for a couple months now. So it goes beyond just the actual act itself. And it's funny because I was watching the end of the Atlanta child murders on HBO, and the conclusion of that sounds very familiar to what's happening now, because they just announced that they're the DA from Cobb County, a black lady, is going to be handling this case. For those of you who don't know, they had the same thing happen with the Wayne Williams case for the child murders. They had a black DA black judge handle that case and trial. And, basically for a lot of the same reason, like you're trying to at least get the perception that, if it's one of us that handles it, it might get viewed differently. And, you're setting people up for failure in that situation, and that's not cool. And, like I had mentioned on our IG post last week, it's not cool to be. Nobody wants to be hunted down. Everybody just wants to live. Like I had a Zoom call with our homeboy Rox Fontaine of Apollo Culture last week, and but diverse group, white people, black people, brown people, all around. And Pete, one of the guys on there, a white guy, was like, how do we improve, the relationship shit? It's like you have to talk, like I think what people miss out of all this shit is that we're all just trying to live. Even for our little bit of bullshit, everyone just wants to live. And, we're all trying to, take care of us and us and ours. And we don't want no trouble. We really don't. And the sooner people realize that, and realize that, we all got the same common goals at the end of the day, and realize that we're not trying to fuck you over just as much as you're trying to fuck us over. We're just trying to live. And
Grego, to follow up on that, I think if we wrap up all of our 2 ups, 2 downs, and some of the things that we talked about, at the end of the day, what we're realizing is life is so precious. And so whether it's battling COVID, whether it's losing a close family, a family member, whether it's bringing in a new family member like TK, and with you, Grego, like I was thinking about you, and it's Mother's Day, your mom's passing and everything like that. Like life is so precious that we're dealing with all these moments. But the thing about like culture, hug your loved ones, hug your child, hug your sister, your brother, your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle. Just realize that life is so precious and you got to take care of it. I mean, like the fact that no day is guaranteed, you got to love the ones that you're with right now. And so please realize that. Enjoy the moment. We're in a crazy state of the world right now, but we just need to pause and take account into the ones that are with us and for us and love us and care for us. So please, culture, love your ones. I'm a hug Memphis as soon as I can, you know what I'm saying? So please, culture, hug your loved ones.
Indeed. So that's it for us this week. As always, you can catch us on the social at FTC
UTD
at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at FTC UTD Pod. Like I said, we're part of the conversation. We're trying to make it just like everybody else. So, of course, we're looking forward this weekend to the first major soccer coming back this weekend. So, hopefully, we got some more actual soccer action to talk about next week. So, look forward to that. Like I said, everybody look out for the journey coming out. Of course, we got something else coming out pretty soon as well. We'll get into that probably next week as well. But that's all we got for now. So for TK, for Coach, for Ringo, happy birthday, Ringo. For Mayor, Coach is real, of course, everywhere. Stay safe in these streets. We'll see y'all soon, and we